Rob Dibble Show. Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Getting close to New Year's Eve here as the end of 2024 winds down. And one of our favorite guests, Dom Amore from the Hartford Current. Dom joins us. Where are you going or where are you coming from on the train, Dom?
I'm heading up to Vermont to see my sister for the holiday.
There you go. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming on with us. You were at Fenway, correct?
Oh, yeah.
I was.
All right. So just your thoughts covering baseball for 40, 50 years that you have and watching a football game like that. We were just, regaling our audience and how amazing that was and the feel to it. What was it like for you to watch that game?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. It was cool. Now, I know that probably people who were sitting behind pesky pole weren't too happy, but I thought the field fit pretty well into the stadium, the way they laid it out. And it looked like, we were in the baseball press box, which is over one end zone, and we could see the whole field very fine. And I imagine that most people did. And even in the monster seats, in the monster seats, it was probably okay because, you'd be blocked off in an area where they weren't playing. So, I don't know. I wasn't sitting in the stands, but the sight lines didn't seem to be as bad as I thought they were going to be. And, of course, Fenway Park's a great setting and all that green around you and the skyline, the Prudential Center. It's always a great place to look out from the press box at like 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon in the summer. And it should have proved to be an interesting, fun place to watch a football game.
I'm still shocked that this team got 9 wins at the end of the year. Not because of who they are, because if you look at the statistics and you look at other teams' statistics in college football, it is rare to find a 9-win team that does not throw the football like Uconn cannot do.
Right.
For you, did it? How bad did they? I don't know how to put this. They exceeded my expectations, and I feel like I'm the most positive person about this football program in all of Connecticut. How about your expectations? How much did they blow that out of the water?
Well, my expectations were that they would win 7 or 8 because of the schedule that they were playing. I thought they had a manageable schedule, a lot of teams there that they could beat, and they did. So they exceeded a little bit. And you have to remember, though, too, is that they have an offensive line coach that's really, really good, and they've run the football very effectively for 3 years. So they haven't had to throw the football. They don't play 41-38 games very often. When they did get in that kind of game, they were able to win it down at UAB. But, with 130 teams, and such a divergence in the teams that you play, the levels of ability of those teams, it's hard to really look at those internal numbers and read too much into it. But what I would read into it, though, is that, UConn plays kind of a smash mouth, run the football kind of thing. And if they could get a little more ability to throw the ball vertically down the field to go with that, they could be a really, really good team.
As far as playing it on a baseball field, I was on the 50-yard line up under the stands just in case it was inclement weather, and so I was probably, really good angle, but with my knees jammed into my throat because they're 112-year-old seats that are not built for 6'4" guys. That's not a complaint. That was I had the aisle. That was a reality, but it was awesome, man. The fans were insane. They stood most of the game. I just thought that was a great win for Uconn Nation, not just the team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Rob. I actually was talking with Jim Calhoun this morning. He was there in a box, and we agree. Whether or not, to what degree North Carolina took the game seriously, to what degree they had. They had a lot of freshmen playing because people were not in their lineup, and I get all of those things. But whether or not it was a great win, it was certainly a great day for Uconn football to have 27,000 people there, the majority their fans in Boston. Certainly much better than playing in Montgomery, Alabama, or Mobile, or Myrtle Beach, or any place like that. To play at Fenway, have that many people there. A lot of people watching. I'm hoping to see the TV ratings later today to see how many people tuned in. But I just thought it was a great day for Uconn football. They became relevant again on the football field, and I think a power conference that might be looking for a team should take a look at that, and coupled with what Uconn could bring in basketball. I know. I think maybe I'm looking at it through a Connecticut lens, but I think it was an indication that Uconn could add value to almost any conference out there.
Totally agree with that. Coach Moore, too, great day for him. Not only get the win and a great season, but he got a contract extension as well for 2 more years. Let's talk Skylar Bell real quick. Tell me what you know about this situation. I was shocked to find out he was playing. I thought he was going to be in the transfer portal and up and away and see you later, Uconn. He played in the game and is still in the transfer portal. How's this working?
Well, that's allowed. There's no rule against that. And, I give him a lot of credit on 2 fronts. One is keeping his commitment to his teammates. I think he knew, and he had been saying how badly everybody wanted to get a bowl game and win a bowl game and finish this year out. So he made good on that, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. He also, if he is going to go somewhere else, which is not assured, he certainly had a good game and played well and showed that he could help someone. I guess he visited Michigan at one point, during the week. And it also, I just think it speaks well of him. Any program who wants to bring him in, that's what they're getting. They're getting a kid who's going to keep his commitment right through to the bowl game. I think he only helped himself. Obviously, he risked getting hurt, and thankfully he didn't get hurt. But I think he only helped himself as far as his stature and the respect that people should have for him. So I applaud him for all that, and he kept his commitment to Uconn. And if he does go somewhere else and make a lot more money at this point of his career, it might be his best chance to do that. I don't fault him one bit. So, I give him a lot of credit for all of that. But it's not certain that Uconn's going to lose him. Uconn, I know, is trying to ante up some NIL money to keep him, guys. And also, he came from a Big Ten school where he was not a priority target, to be a priority target, which he is at Uconn. So he knows if he comes back to Uconn, he's going to get an opportunity to really display his talents for the NFL next year. He could get lost in the shuffle all over again somewhere else. So we'll see where that goes. There's a couple of days left.
Well, and I also give people like Mark D'Amelio a lot of credit, the NIL people, David Benedict for going out there and being able to draw Jim Mora Jr. in here because he's making men out of these boys and making them into NFL prospects. And I think that's the biggest thing. And at the end of the day, though, the memories you'll take the rest of your life, for these guys that don't go to the NFL, going into the Green Monster, winning those trophies that are silver bats, things like that. I thought that Fenway and Major League Baseball represented them well. And the same thing with Boston College playing at Yankee Stadium. And what Yankee Stadium does in these bowl games as well, and a lot of the other baseball venues. I think it's a great way to show off all the different sports and come together, because that's all we talked about. I was on a bus for 4 hours with Red Sox, Mets, and Yankee fans, and there's a lot of that talk going on at the same time. So I think Uconn is the thing that ties it all together.
Yeah, that the bowl games, to kind of put a fresh face on them, to give them a fresh look. It's great for that. I think it really works for that. Play bowl games in big cities in this part of the country that in the past did not have bowl games. I think that's a great thing and a great look, and brings people in. And I would love to see Uconn and Notre Dame hook up at Yankee Stadium in a regular season game someday. I think that would be a great thing for Uconn. And I would think that, if the Yankees were watching that bowl game and saw the crowd, they might be interested in maybe finagling something the way Fenway did and getting Uconn there. I thought they might do that this year. I don't know what they drew at the Pinstripe Bowl, but I'm guessing there would have been more Uconn fans than Nebraska fans there if it were Uconn and Boston College in that bowl. So, I think it's great. I think it opens up some doors for Uconn that may have been closed or nearly closed before.
A guy that I don't think is getting enough credit around here for the job he's done is Coach Brock, the defensive coordinator that brought a completely different look to this defense and developed some guys that I did not think were going to be as bad of dudes as they turned out to be. Man, Tui Famina Brown is a headhunter out there. I think he's a next level guy. Ronte Jones had a hell of a season. Malik Dixon, just so many guys that have really played above their skis. But I think the scheme that Coach Brock brought in allowed them to play free. Do we have to worry about losing some of these offensive and defensive coordinators to another staff because of their success?
Well, you lost quarterbacks coach. Brad Robbins is on his way to Tulsa.
Yep.
That's going to be a very important hire for Jim Mora, because in order to get a really program-changing quarterback from the portal, you really need a quarterbacks coach that's respected and has a reputation for developing. So I would hope that they're able to make a replacement there. As I said, Gordon Samus, I thought, really grew into the role of offensive coordinator, and he's obviously a great offensive line coach. He's built 3 offensive lines there. He's sent offensive linemen to the league. So that certainly helps, and I would imagine he'd be attracted to someone else, but I would think he's in for the long haul. And you're absolutely right. Matt Brock did a fantastic job with transfers, identifying transfers, developing players.
Yep.
And don't forget, a lot of these players were there when they were 1-11 before Jim Mora got there. They stuck it out too, and he made them better. So no, it's a great job by the coaching staff. They need to get a quarterbacks coach. Hey, maybe Dan Orlovsky wants to get into coaching, right? That'd be a great entry point for him, wouldn't it, to be the quarterbacks coach at
Absolutely.
UConn? But I'm spitballing there. I don't have any information on that. But that's when you win, you're in danger of losing your coaches. But the good news is you won, and in the case too, I think they have the biggest bar. I really think Jim Moore is not only the coach of the year at that level, but even with this new deal, I think he's one of the biggest bargains in coaching. North Carolina's paying Bill Belichick 10 times as much, and you don't even know if he can coach college or how he can. I don't know. I really don't know. Whether or not Bill Belichick can coach in college, if he wants to do it, or how into it he's going to be. And he's making 10 times what Jim Moore is making. So it's really a tremendous bargain for UConn. I know David Benedict and Rebecca Merrick probably wouldn't enjoy my saying that, but I imagine Jim Moore would, and he's the guy I've got in it.
Oh no, I said that. I hit up on your tweet or your thing on X about him getting the extension and stuff, and I said he's worth every penny. Jim Calhoun saying, not a dime back.
Not a dime back.
Not a dime back. Wanted to hit you one quick MLB question. So far in the offseason, who do you think's done the best? I mean, barring the Soto transaction, but as far as pitching for the Yankees, Mets, and Red Sox?
Well, I think the Yankees have done extremely well in recovering from Soto and plugging the holes that had to be plugged, the holes that they were able to cover by having those 2 sluggers last year. I love the Goldschmidt signing, even if he doesn't do anything and gets released in June. It's a low-risk signing.
Yes.
And I think Bellinger is a low-risk pickup, and he could be rejuvenated at Yankee Stadium and maybe be something close to what he was 5 years ago. So I think the Yankees made a lot of very good, sensible moves. I mean, anytime you get a starting pitcher in New York, you got to worry about how he's going to handle it. So is Fried going to be the same guy he was in Atlanta? If he is, it was a big offseason for the Yankees. They made the best of losing a big star player, and they didn't tie themselves up where they can't maybe make a run at somebody like Vlad Guerrero next year. So I think the Yankees had a very good, smart offseason, even though it started out, on the wrong foot. The Mets, they've got obviously they've added one of the great players in the game, but they've got to get the right pieces around him. I think a reunion with Pete Alonso at a good price would be a great start for that. Maybe pick up a couple of pitchers, but I think they had a great offseason. And the Dodgers beefed up the one area where they had to kind of cover for their starting pitching. So they're very well positioned to be right back right back at the top again next year. So those are the three that come to mind. But we'll see. The Red Sox pick up another pitcher or two to go with Walker Buehler. They've got a lot of young players. I like their roster more than maybe a lot of other people do. I think they're heading in the right direction quicker than a lot of other people think. I think they're going to be a contender next year. So that would be my take. I think that the Dodgers and Yankees kept themselves in position to go back. The Mets certainly strengthened themselves a great deal, and I think the Red Sox are moving in that direction too.
Is that Roki Sasaki to the Dodgers a done deal, or is that all speculation still?
I don't know if it's done, but it's always been kind of a foregone conclusion that he wanted to pitch on the West Coast, and that seems to be the destination of choice now for players coming from Japan. Now that now that Ohtani is there, and of course Yamamoto is there, so it certainly wouldn't be a surprise if it's a done deal. I don't know if it is yet or not, but that seems to be the way this was moving right from the beginning.
And I like that the Dodgers already signed Ohtani's baby that isn't even born yet. And they already signed the kid. So
wanted the Cubs to get him.
Well, he'll be a Bobby Bonilla. He'll be getting $1 million a year for the next 90 years.
There you go. They'll defer the baby's money as well. Always love having you on, Dom. Thank you so much, and have fun at your sister's, man. God bless you and safe travels.
Thank you, sir.
You got it, guys. Happy New Year to you and everyone out there. Thanks for listening and reading and following me on Twitter, and best of luck to all of you in 2025.
Awesome. Dom Amore, everybody. Happy New Year. When we come back, we'll do First Dibs question of the day.